It's always one of those deals where it's like, I don't know how to start.
No.
What do I do? What do I say to start things off? And then it's just like you start flowing into a conversation. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, welcome to How's the Water this week with Brett, Sarah, and John. Well, I guess what I want to say is, how's the water this week by you guys?
The water this week by us is okay.
I don't know, slightly murky, I would go with.
I was having a great day. Okay?
I know, you were having
a great day.
Great morning.
I had a breakfast of coffee, cigarettes, and shredded wheat. Can't go wrong there. I found out Animaniacs is coming back on Hulu, which is amazing. Amazing.
At the end of November, friends.
November 20th.
Yep.
Animaniacs comes back on Hulu.
I'm impressed that their voices are so good.
Yeah.
You have to think, like, people that do voice work or, even singers, you know what I mean? When you age, your voice just naturally gets tired.
It changes.
I'm amazed that they sound that good.
Yeah, they sound exactly the same.
They sound exactly the same as they did when we were kids watching
crazy. And 25 plus years, and now they're coming back. I'm stoked about it. I think it's gonna be awesome.
Me too. I always love that show.
Yep, that show is amazing.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
You never watched Animaniacs?
Are you for real? Come on.
No.
Really?
Warner Brothers Animaniacs. You've never watched that show?
Animaniacs.
It's a cartoon. You never watched that?
Animaniacs.
With Pinky and the Brain?
No. I know who you're talking about. I don't think I've ever sat down and actually watched a clip of it a show.
All right. Well, here's what you need to do. YouTube Animaniacs,
with the characters.
Yeah.
Wacko, and the World Map.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's all you have to do. Look that
you know what it might have been? It might have been it came out in the 90s, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little after your...
I was really in my 20s at that point,
Yeah.
Well, true. Yeah, you are older than that.
You are a little bit older, yeah.
Not by much, but...
Yeah.
Really.
It's enough, though, when you consider, I was...
Oh, yeah. No, I get it because, Pokemon,
that was Pokemon at all.
That was, literally, an inch past my time for me to get into it. And, everybody, directly after me was like, oh, Pokemon. And I never understood it.
No, I don't get it.
I couldn't get into it.
To this day, I still don't get it. I do not well, never mind. That's for another discussion.
Yeah, I just never got it. I was just like, what the hell?
That's when we actually talk about video games.
Yeah.
And I say, I don't know anything. I play some of them. I do not know anything.
Mm-hmm. I know.
The history of video games is beyond my comprehension.
So I found out about Animaniacs. I was pretty pumped about that. And then I get my mail, and I get my favorite maple butter, which is absolutely amazing. And now I got to go to work after we get done with this. Horrible.
It is terrible.
Horrible.
So what is that all about? Is that mandatory overtime or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid. Mandatory overtime once a week usually, and it's like a random day. You can't pick it. You can't pick the time. They do it for you.
Yeah.
It's crappy.
It's only 5 hours.
It's only 5 hours.
It's better when it's 5 hours in the morning because you just get up, you go do it, and then you're good.
Yep.
Well, how far do you have to travel to get to work?
Not far. It's 4 miles.
Yeah.
Or not even.
No.
Not even. It's it takes 6 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
So it's not far, but
no.
You know what I mean? When you have to go in for 12:30, it's what? Your whole morning is kind of shot, right? Because you don't feel like you can get anything accomplished.
All you got time to do is smoke a few cigarettes, have some coffee, eat some shredded wheat, get your favorite maple butter,
maple
find out
butter,
Animaniacs is playing,
watch some YouTube, and then do a podcast.
Do a podcast.
That's it. That's all you can do.
That's all you got time for.
It seems like a lot, but it's not.
It's really not.
It's really not.
It's really not.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So that's
that makes it a little bit better.
So how's the water your way?
It's okay. It's decent. We got a little bit of a surprise at the end of the week last week where all of a sudden there was this phone call and it was an hour after I dropped off the kids and they're like, we're sending the kids home early dismissal. There was people at an event, a private event over the weekend that tested positive for COVID-19. They're part of the school community.
Oh my God.
So out of, an abundance of caution, we're going to send your kids home. So I had to go pick up the kids at 12:30. Actually, my wife picked the kids up because I was working, and I was like, I can't leave. It happened to be a day where I had meeting after meeting after meeting, and we just onboarded 115 new people to my area of where I work, and I'm like, I cannot leave. There's nothing I can do. Yeah. Even if I try to take my lunch, I can't take my lunch at that time because that's when the big kickoff meeting starts. I'm like, you're kidding me. So like the best I could do was like I call my wife and I'm like, could you please? And she was like, I have to leave work early then. And I'm like, sorry, like I don't know what to tell you. Like
sorry,
I know I'm home, but for me to leave and go down to the bus, like if I'm not there when the meeting starts, there's gonna be problems. Like I have to be there when this meeting starts. I'm the one facilitating it, so I got.
Like I'm starting the meeting, which means I technically have to be there.
Yeah. So,
but here's my question for you: was it a meeting about a future meeting that would also be discussing 2 meetings that happened previously?
No. Wow. So it was actually a very like, it was a very productive meeting. I was very happy because we were onboarding, like I said, 115 new people to our area of the business. And I cannot talk about who I work for confidentiality reasons, but we had to kind of get them going. So like you're coming from a different role, you're going into a new role. You went through this training to show you how to use the systems, but like, what do you do? So we made this nice little like presentation, and we put it up on the video chat, and it was, slides of like how to start your day, what tools to go through, what tools to open, do you have access, check your email, that sort of stuff. And it was like really productive, and we got some really great questions out of the people who were starting in this new role. So like they work for the company for years, but it's just they're starting in this new role now, out of needs of the business.
Yeah.
So that went really well. But it was the whole, like, I got to go with the kids. Now, I was able to take, like, my lunch at the time that they were, like, getting on the bus. But I couldn't take the chance of the bus being late, which it often is.
Right.
And me not being there for the meeting. Yeah. It was literally a matter of, like, 10 minutes. And my wife walked in 10 minutes before the meeting started with the kids. And I'm like, but this thing, like, if that bus was, like, 4 or 5 minutes late, I never would have made it.
Or traffic or anything,
And she was like, I get it. She's like, I totally get it. So now, because of all of that, they've decided to do remote learning this week, where they were doing full time, and now the kids are home doing their schoolwork, and they're a little out of sorts because it's not something they're used to. So,
it can be crazy.
I happen to live in a state in Connecticut that is one of the lower states as far as like cases for COVID go. So
that's good.
We've been pretty good, but now all of a sudden there's been a spike, and now I live next to Danbury, which is one of the bigger kind of cities or towns or whatever you want to call it, bigger city in Connecticut, and it's suddenly become like a red zone hotspot for spike. So, like it's just like the writing's on the wall at this point.
Yeah.
I told my wife, I was like, this is just the precursor, and you're going to see like they're going to be like, you know what? Just stay home.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's bound to happen everywhere.
I think so too.
Oh yeah, that's why we didn't put our kids back in public school this year.
Nope, I made that decision over the summer. I said, nah.
Nope, that's exactly why.
Because I knew this was going to happen, and we have cases rising daily.
Yeah.
Well, there's a county, not very far from us, Bradford County. That they're getting like 60 cases a day right now.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So and it's not a very big county.
No, it's not a very big county, and that's pretty.
Yeah.
I got to say that it was a very long, lengthy. I wouldn't say like nasty discussion between my wife. It was a discussion though, and it was just a matter of like trying to weigh the pros and cons of it. And I wanted to keep my kids home. I'm the type, I'll put them in a bubble. I can protect them here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't protect them if they're in school or at a building 13 miles away from me.
Right.
There's just no way I can do it. And but the problem is that my son is in kindergarten this year. But for him to try to start schooling from home like that, I just didn't feel like it was fair.
Yeah,
my daughter, she's in 3rd grade. She can kind of.
Our youngest did.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Our oldest, she did kindergarten in public school back in the day. But no, our youngest did it.
I feel that.
And I mean, the only thing she really suffered with was reading.
Yeah. Like
learning how to read.
Okay.
And I'm an English teacher, but I don't know how to teach little guys how to read. You know,
right.
Like that's not in my scope of expertise, I guess.
Right.
Like I'm more the older kids type of deal.
Well, I think that
was tough for her, but I mean, other than that, it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, our kids have been back and forth with this pretty much their entire lives.
The decision up to them. So.
And when they were younger, I mean, the decision was up to us. But as they got older, we said, hey, if you ever want to try public school, we're on board. Like, we'll allow it. But I said, if grades start to suffer or anything else changes, I'm making the executive decision that you are not doing it anymore.
Yeah. And they did extremely well, actually.
No, and they did very well going back to public school. Very well.
But it's good because they learn the structure of how things work. And then being homeschooled, they kind of...
yeah. Now, like, honestly, they're going to get their schoolwork done in like an hour, 2 hours, and be done for the day.
Yep.
Awesome.
But they're also smart kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they've been down this road before, and they know, hey, if I buckle down and I do everything I'm supposed to do, the rest of the day is mine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, you know, it's a trade-off.
That is very smart. That's always the way I approach things, too. If I can get this work done, then the rest of the day is mine.
Yeah, right? That's what I do. If I get everything done I don't want to do, then I can play video games.
Right.
Right?
Hell yeah, that's the way I've always been.
You know, like that's my reward now. And my reward used to be, well, it didn't really used to be anything. I don't think I ever really had a reward system. I'm kind of boring. I think I've gotten more exciting, but I used to be pretty boring.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for reading books.
I know. Well, that's the thing too. I mean, I could sit there and read a book the entire day and just forget that everybody else existed, but I don't know. Something clicked. Something like fell apart. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the same joy.
It's fun.
And now I play video games.
Video games are fun.
Most of them.
You know what's not fun though is watching somebody play fucking that goddamn whatever it's called.
What?
That game that's...
What game? Fall Guys?
No. Well, that's stupid too.
Among Us?
No, that's dumb too. But no, that other one. That,
Medieval Dynasty?
Yes.
Oh my god, that game is fucking horrible.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's so boring.
Here's the thing with that. It's interesting. Well, John, have you seen anything on this game?
It's medieval. Like, I'm a big fan of, like, you know, I love Little House on the Prairie. Like, I'm good with, like...
That's not medieval time, but yeah.
But simple.
Or sorry, medieval, or however they...
It's medieval.
I've heard so many ways of pronouncing that.
But anyway.
Hold on. John, have you seen this game? Saw this game? Have you seen and saw this
game? I saw the name. I never really paid much attention to it, though.
Yeah, well, you're not missing out.
No.
Cool.
It's neat because the premise of it, hey, who doesn't want to, like, go back in time
and build a town, basically.
Build your own little, like, community.
Yeah.
Your own village.
Yeah, and, like, first-person deal. Like, it's, like...
But my God, when you're watching someone play this game... I mean, granted, it depends on the person.
Yeah, kind of, but not...
Depends on the person, but when all you're doing is picking up sticks and dying from the elements, it's boring.
That's all you do.
Boring.
I was watching somebody stream this game. I'm not going to say who. But I was watching somebody stream this game, and literally lost interest, like, after 2 minutes. I left it on, went away. What the hell? I think I went out and cleaned the car out and stuff.
Yeah.
And, cleaned it up and shit, blah, blah, blah. Came back in, and they were doing the same exact thing like an hour later. They were chopping down trees and picking up sticks. I'm like, what the fuck is... This game sucks. Like, it's
seriously.
To play it by yourself when you're home and doing this, that's great. That'd be cool. But to stream it and try to stay entertaining? Oh my God.
Fuck that. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
I mean, what an... well, and...
Oh.
I mean, what does it... I don't know. What does it say as a person if you're somebody who's actually enjoying it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
I'm looking at some reviews for it, and one guy's like 30 hours in, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, you would. Like,
I think playing it, you would enjoy.
Would be playing the game.
To watch
like
other people play it.
Like if I was sitting here, not streaming, not worried about it, playing the game myself, you can get lost in it. You can play it for hours, and I think that's fine. I think it's a good game.
Yeah.
For the most part, but not for streaming. Like,
it's
no
got
way.
Playability, but it does not have.
There's no way.
Shareability.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. Shareability.
Nailed it. High fiving myself. I did that. I'm not joking.
No, really. I think overall it's a good game, but it's not a game that you want to stream. Oh my God! And I've seen tons of people streaming it, and it's like, why? And then they don't have a shit ton of people watching, really.
No.
Yeah.
I get it.
No.
I get why. That just popped into my head. I don't know why. I think because I was scrolling through earlier and saw a gameplay on the game.
Well, I was disappointed with the game.
Yeah.
This weekend. Phasmophobia. Well,
Yeah.
I don't scare easily. And so when I see other people being like, oh my God, I got so scared within like 30 seconds and blah, blah, blah. And I see all these people like freaking out about it. I'm like, oh, maybe that's going to be a decent game. Maybe it'll give me a jump scare or two. Like maybe I will actually feel something. No.
Yeah, that's the
I did
PewDiePie
not.
school of YouTube.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let me scream like a lunatic at the screen, and, because he was the first one to do it. That's why he has 40 bajillion subscribers.
Oh yeah.
But like honestly, I mean, granted, we should have done the training and whatnot. I will give it that. And I'm not going to not play the game again. Like, we're going to give it another honest try, play the game. But I guarantee it's not going to scare me. I want a game to actually scare me. You know what scared me? Watching Jacksepticeye play that fucking game with, like, the Michael Jackson thing that went,
what the hell's the name of that game?
And, like, what's the name of the game?
You guys don't know? You remember the game? You know, it's like, Are You Okay or something? Or
Yeah, it was that.
Oh, really?
Walkie, or I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
of it,
it was some kind of weird, but like no joke, watching him play that scared the bejesus out of me. I mean, I was jumping and going like, whoo! Yeah, Phasmophobia did not do that for me at all.
Well,
it was very downplayed.
I don't know, John, have you ever played any of the Silent Hill games?
No, actually.
Well, that's something you want to get in. Like the first couple, they were creepy. They really were back on the original PlayStation. They were creepy games. They were like just the darkness because they were limited.
Yeah,
the view was limited because of the hardware,
right?
Because you couldn't have expansive views without having that freaking cloud of like the fog or whatever you want to call it. Well, so they used that to their advantage with this game, and it was amazing. Like just the way they did it. So those games are creepy.
You know what game scares me though? Left 4 Dead. Because I don't like not seeing what's creeping in the shadows.
Well, yeah.
I don't like that. When you only have a flashlight and you just
that's how Silent Hill is.
Yeah. See, so that would probably creep me out. And that's the thing. Phasmophobia is the same thing. Like, you go into a house and the ghost can turn off the lights and you can't see anything without a flashlight.
Right.
But you're not scared.
Yeah.
You're not scared. It was not scary.
I don't know. I haven't looked into that.
Left 4 Dead is scary.
I think what turned me off to the whole Silent Hill thing was because of, like, Resident Evil.
Yeah.
I played that, and I played Resident Evil 2, and that game, like, gave me, like, I was like jump scare kind of game.
Yeah.
Since then, I didn't really, like, and I just kind of stayed away from games like that at that point, because that game freaked me out.
Right. Right.
And I came out in, like, 96, if I'm not mistaken, or 98. It was 98. And then Silent Hill came out, like, the year after, so I was just like, nah, I'm not interested. It kept me away from those games. And then I didn't really, like, get back into games like that until much later on. And then they just didn't do anything to me. Like, there was no jump scare. There was nothing that scared me enough to be like, oh, this is worth it, until 7 Days to Die. Like, this game still to this day gives me a jump scare when a freaking dog sneaks up on me.
That's what I mean. I know. I can get
and
a
the
jump
hair
scare
stands up on the back of my neck.
Yeah.
Well, now with this new alpha, they don't make a lot of noise either. Like,
I know.
They're very creep-tastic.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that, because it's still giving me a new level that I need to continue playing the game.
Right.
Right. I'm sitting there chopping a tree, and all of a sudden you're just getting attacked by a dog.
Yeah.
Like, whoop.
How about it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's pretty much my view on that game. Not a fan. I'm not a fan as far as it, being portrayed as, ooh, such a spooky, scary horror game. Nah. Mm-hmm. No. And I don't know, maybe it, like, just plays into my not belief in ghosts in real life, because I haven't experienced it. I'm not sitting here saying, like, hey, ghosts don't exist, because there is, 100% chance that they do. I just myself have never experienced one.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I've never gone to a house and been like, ooh, I'm like, it's so creepy, or, oh, I'm cold, or, like, hearing stuff shut, or, any of that crazy stuff. Like, I've never had that happen.
Right.
So,
I feel like, I
don't know, maybe I just went into this game, expecting more. And, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I didn't get like an awesome experience out of it, I guess. We'll put it that way.
What I tend to do is, like, I'm the type that me and my wife will watch, like, Ghost Hunters. ever see that show?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, we used
and it's
to
like
watch it.
I watch that, but I'm always like, I'm the one who sits there and like completely debunks everything that they do.
Yeah,
and I'm
the
like,
same way.
there's a reasonable explanation for that. Watch,
Yep.
boom, there it is. Like,
Yep.
so it's like
Yep.
you hear that noise, that whatever. Like, there's a reasonable explanation for all of those noises, and
Right.
and because of that, but that's why I like. But I like the whole concept of it. So I thought that Phasmophobia was a game that I would enjoy to play because of what it means, or what it, kind of where it's going with like using the ghost hunting equipment and things like that. And but yeah, if there's no jump scare, then I mean, I'm not sure. Like,
Yeah, it really wasn't. It really was not.
It has very positive reviews on Steam, though. I'm looking at it now.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like
Overwhelmingly positive.
Oh yeah,
I think
I feel that it could be a fun game.
I feel like it can be a fun game. I think I just put too much expectation on it.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to be scared playing a video game, and I wasn't.
Ah, okay.
I think that's what it is. I think that's my issue. It is what it is.
Yep.
Whatever. Video games.
Well, maybe we'll have to
Video games.
I don't know how the Silent Hill Homecoming is. That's on Steam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how it is. But...
Is that their latest?
I don't even know. I'm checking it out right now just to see, but no, it doesn't look. It looks came out in 2008.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I don't know if it. I don't know anything about it. I don't know if it would have the same.
Oh my gosh, it's
appeals.
$40.
Yeah, well,
And it's got very mixed reviews.
Yeah, it does too. I don't know. Yeah, you got to play the original ones. Those are really good. But I don't know. It looks like it might have the same kind of appeal to it. They're fucking dogs. I don't know. Yep.
I don't even have a Steam version of the original Silent Hill.
No, I might have to bust out my PlayStation and try to find a copy of it to even play it.
Yeah.
I miss that. I miss the first two. The first two Silent Hills were really good. I mean, the rest of them might be, but whatever. I don't care about that. I just know the first two, for nostalgic purposes, were really good.
Right.
Same goes with the Resident Evil. I thought the first two were good, but after that, I was like, eh.
Right, exactly. I felt the same way. And I did play a couple of other ones. And as a matter of fact, I played the remake as well, and it was just like, yeah. I wasn't thrilled by the remake.
What'd they remake that on? I don't even know.
That was PlayStation.
PlayStation 4? Or
Yeah.
Yeah? I haven't paid attention.
But it wasn't anything that I was impressed with.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't paid attention to much PlayStation stuff since we went to PC.
There you go.
Yeah, really.
I've had no need to. Like, I have a friend at work that like just pre-ordered the PS5 or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, we have no interest in that.
Nope.
I mean, we left PS4. It wasn't just because of 7 days. It was because there wasn't
nothing on
anything
there to
good.
play.
Yeah.
Like, we tried DayZ, and, that was fun.
We played the hell out of that for about a year, technically. We played it for about a year.
Yeah, I guess we did.
Yeah.
It feels like less time than that. But,
No, it was about a year.
But, I mean, we made a couple of decent friends.
Yeah.
Ish. Like,
Yeah.
Friendish-ishes. And that's what kept us
playing
it. But then it just kind of went to bleh.
Yeah.
It went to bleh.
Love-hate relationship with that game.
Yep.
Yeah. So I always found DayZ very hard and too complicated to get started.
Oh, yeah.
It is a little, yeah. Well, and you don't have a map. Like, I had to use
Right.
an app on my phone just to figure out where anybody was and how to get to them.
Like, the people that play this game, like the big hitters that we've watched in the past,
yeah,
personally, you and I,
mm-hmm.
They memorize the map. Like, they know, like, they can respawn or whatever if they die and, like, immediately go back to where they were just by memory. They know the roads. They know everything about the map.
Yeah.
And, like, I just couldn't do it.
No,
I couldn't learn
get
that
there.
fucking map.
We couldn't get there. Well, and that's another thing, too, is you had all these people who, were so good at it right from the get-go.
Yeah.
And then all you spent your time doing was dying and then trying to meet up with your friends again and then dying again.
Yeah.
Because you had these good people
Mm-hmm.
who knew exactly where to go to get decent weapons and everything else, and they would just shoot you in the back of the head and you were done.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they make it so the further you further you progress on the map, the better tiered weapons you'll get.
Yeah.
So
but it's like you could never get past the middle of the map.
No. Nope.
You could never get past it.
No, it was a pain in the butt.
Because you were dead. Like, the zombies in that game were nothing.
Yeah, oh no.
Nothing
it's
compared to, like, it's PvP. Hardcore PvP.
Yep.
I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, the zombies, I don't think we were killed by
zombies were
zombies
a
much
joke.
at all.
No.
Takes 2 or 3 hits and they're done.
Yeah, they were a joke to deal with.
Yeah.
And
I think that's probably what like turned me off about it.
Yeah, you couldn't go out at night either. Because if you did, you couldn't see, and if you had a light, then you were just like a walking target for other players.
I love the idea of the game. I still do.
There was too much anxiety with it.
Yeah, it's just,
like,
I don't know.
I don't even know if I want to call it anxiety. I think it was almost too suspenseful, but not in a good way.
Yeah.
I don't mind suspense.
Yeah.
If it's gonna
pay off.
If it's gonna pay off and I'm gonna have fun.
Right.
Like suspense where then I just get pissed off, rage quit, and say, fuck this, I don't want to do it anymore. Yeah. That's a whole different story.
Oh, yeah.
That's what turned me. So that's like, it's you come into the game, you can't find weapons, you're running around, you can't find food, you're running forever, and then just to be like overrun by somebody who's a little bit more powerful than you or a lot more powerful than you, and they just kill you.
Yeah.
And I don't like the PvP aspect of that, and it's rinse and repeat exactly. Mm-hmm. So the same thing happened. That was like the downfall of like the Division as well. Like much later on, obviously, different type of game, but along the same lines. But it's just that you have these people who are super overpowered, and if you're playing it in PvP, you're getting annihilated. And it was just like, what's the point of this?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of turned me off to where they kind of changed what those games are like. Like, we played Call of Duty 4 way back when, and I was really good at that game.
Right.
It was different. Like, you didn't play with people who were super overpowered until you got to that level. Like, there was nobody in the game that was, a 4-star general, and you were, still at sergeant level or whatever, or corporate level,
Yeah.
And you were playing against people who had the same equipment, same, level, same everything as you. Mm-hmm. And it made it more of an even playing field. It really came down to strategy at that point until people started, modding the game and then cheating and bots and everything else.
Earlier on, I like this is debated across every platform I've ever seen, but I like their matchmaking. Their matchmaking was pretty solid for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is now.
What happened to it?
I don't know. They changed it up.
When I started playing Call of Duty with you, I don't feel like the matchmaking was accurate at all.
No.
Because how many times did we sit there and empty a fucking clip on somebody and they shoot us once and we're dead?
Well, I don't know what the hell's up with that.
And I don't know if that's just internet connection or if that's...
No, I don't believe so.
Or if that's literally matchmaking, or if it's something else entirely.
Matchmaking should have taken and paired people up that are within certain
the same
ranks
levels
of each other.
Stuff.
Yeah,
but like how many times did we go into a lobby and there's somebody that's level 454 and we're sitting there at level 2? It's like, wait a minute, what in the
they changed,
how does that happen?
Somewhere along the lines they changed it. I don't know where. I don't never paid attention, but I know they mess with the matchmaking. I heard they were gonna mess with it again. I don't know. It's all hearsay for me. I don't.
Eventually, the model's going to go away because it turned into pay to win. So people had all these microtransactions and they were making millions and millions on it, billions on it, and that's what changed it really. Where like you bought Modern Warfare and you bought the game and that was it. That was the game. You had a bunch of different maps. You could download new maps every once in a while, which made it more interesting and kept it fresh.
Yep.
But you didn't have to pay your way to win the game.
Right.
Now if you want a certain piece of like equipment or a gun or like you have to buy that gun, like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And that's what ruined the experience more or less for me.
Me too. Yeah.
And then that model carried on forever.
Yeah,
so
I noticed it real big. I noticed it real big on World War II for Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It ruined it. I was bombarded every time I started up the game with, get this many freaking crates and get this and get that. And if you play this week, you get this. And if you play next week, you get this. And if you didn't play, you don't get it now. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Fuck the fuck off. Seriously.
Yeah, like there were actual guns that you couldn't like they would have like a special where it was
the summer deal or something.
Where you could essentially find these pieces and get this gun.
Yeah.
Right? And it was a super cool gun, and I wanted it real bad. And then all of a sudden, their stupid summer thing is over, and
now you can't.
You should still be able to work towards that, but no, they just literally took it away.
Yeah,
they took it
because
the fuck
you didn't
away.
Play during the time they said.
Because I didn't play when they wanted me to,
yeah.
And I feel like that's bullshit.
It is.
That's some serious bullshit right there.
And
Don't tell me when I'm supposed to play your game.
And a lot of things, I don't know how often, like they were just variants of the guns. So I don't know how often they affected the actual like performance of the weapon, but there were some weapons that did that when you couldn't get that weapon that performed differently.
Like
than
all
rest.
of a sudden, you could not, you just couldn't get it anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
So you spent all this time when you did play working towards that goal.
Yeah.
To have them quite literally rip it out from underneath you.
Yeah.
Right.
So now you're like, well, great. So I just literally wasted 2 months of my life playing this fucking game, trying to get this thing, and now I can't even. It's not even achievable anymore.
Yeah.
Right. That was the same
that's
thing they
like
did
the
with
biggest
Destiny
kick
too.
in the nuts of all time.
Yeah.
And I don't even have nuts.
There you go. They did that same thing with Destiny as well. It's
oh god.
Kind of like the path that they're about to go back onto though, where they're essentially taking Destiny 2 and Destiny 1 and bringing them back together and taking the best aspects of both games and just kind of molding them or melting them together with a little bit of a different kind of like framework and timeline and path for the game, which I'm eager to see what it looks like because it sounds like they're going away from that microtransaction or that loot crate or type of deal, which would be really nice if they did that. And again, I think it kind of opened up when EA screwed up with what was it, Battlefront, and just pissed everybody off, and they had to change the game at the last second.
Yep.
And everybody was just like up in arms about the whole thing. But I mean, you spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a game that shouldn't cost you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. I've literally spent $60 on 7 Days to Die.
Yeah.
And that's because I bought it for two different, platforms.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I almost bought it for Xbox too when I finally got an Xbox, just to have it on Xbox, And I was like, nope, I'm not going to do it because it's the same game on PS4. And I've played that game for thousands of hours.
Oh my god, yeah.
And it's that's how that's how I measure a video game is how many hours did I put into it.
Yep.
So
yeah, I don't know. I miss the old Call of Duties where they friggin' like I played Call of Duty on the consoles from when they first came out, like back in like 2005 or something. And like it was a great progression up until I don't even know, probably I'd say World War II. I think personally, but I don't know. I just miss the old. I thought maybe the new one would be cool, but I just watched some gameplay on it today, and it looks like it sucks butt. So
that sucks butt.
That sucks butt, I say.
But.
So yeah, what else did I do this week? Oh, I learned I had exploding head syndrome. That's fun. Exploding head syndrome.
What is that?
Yeah.
Well, that's
on
top of what you already have, which is the mesophobic.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's basically if people chew loudly, you want to punch them in their face.
Yeah, like when people slurp their. It's basically a certain sound. Actually, it's a certain sound that when it hits your ear lobes, your brain actually heightens that certain sound, and it annoys the fucking hell out of you.
Right.
And my God, I have a friend that eats like a cow and drinks like a fucking, I don't know, like he's slurping out of a swamp. And I want to literally grab a hold of him and break his fucking neck. Obviously I wouldn't, but I want to.
Yeah.
Right.
And oh my God. So I have that it's just because I was listening to a separate podcast and they were talking about like all these different types of things. And,
I mean, we knew you had that.
Well, yeah, I knew I had that, but I have exploding head syndrome. It's when you're falling asleep, you hear a loud explosion and or slamming of a door or like a yell or whatever as you're falling asleep, and it prevents you from sleeping. And I have that because I get it on average about once a month, and it can happen every night. It can happen once a year. It can happen once every 5 years. It doesn't, it's weird.
You know what though? I think I have that too.
You might.
Because I think I do because I've actually said to you, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Hear what?"
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
But I quite literally hear something.
Maybe a lot of people do. I don't know.
Like something drop or I feel like I've heard. I think the kids are like falling out of their beds.
Yeah, I think
you know what I mean, and thumping onto the ground.
I think both things, those I don't know what you call them. What do they call it? I don't know. They're not like a.
I would call them like syndromes.
Yeah, I guess. I
wouldn't necessarily say they're a disorder.
Yeah, both of those syndromes.
Syndromes
are like fairly common, I believe.
Yeah.
But
I would.
That kind of like makes me think about like sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Which I do suffer from sleep paralysis, and it's just talk about an overwhelming and like a hopeless feeling.
Yeah.
Of just like this dread of like you're like, there have been times when I'm laying there and I'm like trying to scream,
Yeah.
and I cannot. And you're just kind of like stuck, and you feel like you can't move or you can't talk or you can't, but you're aware of your surroundings, and it's really you're really not. You're not aware of your surroundings. It's it's just a waking. It's basically like a waking dream or something.
I think it's like you're awake before your body wants to be, or something
right.
like that. I don't know. That was also in the podcast too. Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they said about it.
Between the stage of wakefulness and sleep.
Yeah. You just haven't, like, your whole body hasn't worked together.
Yeah.
So basically, your brain is there, like, hey, time to do shit, and your body's like,
no, it's
not quite.
It's like it's like you're snapping out of your REM sleep before you're supposed to, or something.
Yeah, your brain is essentially waking up before it's supposed to.
That'd be crazy.
Oh my God, I'm glad I don't suffer from that, because I don't know that I could handle it, honestly.
It'd be pretty wild.
That would creep me out. That would creep me out.
I mean, there are times when I'm like woken up finally, and I'm like up, and I'm like, I'm out of breath, and my wife like jumps up and she's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Did you hear me screaming?" And she's like, "You were not screaming."
Yeah, you weren't doing anything.
I swear I was screaming, and I'm like, "Nope, you were not screaming. You were literally laying there snoring." Like, okay, but it doesn't feel that way.
Yeah, right.
Hey, that reminds me of what I wanted to talk about.
What do you want to talk about?
Which is serial killers.
Oh God!
Because I love it. No, I do. Here's the thing. I don't love serial killers, obviously. It's not like, oh, hey, wish I could be friends with that guy. But I find them fascinating. I always have. Like, I will watch every show that there is, every documentary about a serial killer.
Yep.
That is what I will do, because I find it fascinating. But I feel like sleep paralysis, right? I wonder if that's the feeling you get. Like, you know what I mean? I wonder if that's similar to what it is when you realize that, like, holy fuck, I'm with a serial killer right now. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm about to fucking die. Yeah. Like, something bad is going to happen, right? I wonder if that's the same feeling.
I don't know.
That creeps me out. Creeps me out thinking about it. But I'm fascinated by serial killers. And I think I'm fascinated because, like, the way the brain works in them is just so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I need to be fascinated with serial killers so that I don't end up at the hands of a serial killer. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like serial killers have gone down quite a bit in recent years. If you think about it, how often are you hearing about an actual serial killer? If you really think about it. When was the last time you heard about one? That wasn't like the standard, Manson and Kemper and fucking the other guy, Bundy. You know what I'm saying? Like, when was the last time you actually heard about one? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Well, there's like,
but you also,
I don't know. There's one dude that was caught like in 2018 or something. Yeah. I don't even know.
But he was also dormant for how long?
Yeah, for a long time.
But I mean, really, are there actual new serial killers popping up in like a rapid pace as they did back in the 60s and the 70s and even earlier than that?
Well,
I mean, really, serial killers have been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right? But it seems like either we're just not hearing about it as often, and I don't know if that's because of the behavioral unit of the FBI. Mm-hmm. Like maybe they're tightening everything. Because now it's more important to hear about people that steal Super Bowl chairs instead of that there's a fly on a vice president's head during a debate, instead of, oh, hey, by the way, there's this guy running around and he's killed like 5,000 people. Yeah. No big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, is it just that we're not given this information anymore? Or is it that there has been a serious drop-off? I'm going to go with there's a drop-off. Because we have evolved. We've gotten smarter, right? Nobody hitchhikes anymore. Yeah. And if they do, they're fucking stupid, right? I think we've all learned, hey, what's the one common denominator here? Don't fucking hitchhike. Don't take a ride from somebody you don't know. You know what I'm saying? And we instill that in our children too, right? Stranger danger. Oh, yeah. But it's like that whole thing came about in the 80s. But there were people, obviously falling for that shit way before that. Because now you're dead. And now you're just part of the serial killing, world, essentially. I don't know. I find this all fascinating. I also think technology has a big part in it. I mean, really. Now we have cell phones, so it's not Chainsaw Massacre where you're like stuck out in the middle of nowhere, go up to a creepy house, and now you're, having your fingernails fucking ripped off and your face peeled off your body.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this, John?
I mean,
I would like to know. How do you feel about serial killers? Do you love them? Do you hate them? Just kidding.
I do find the mind of a serial killer to be very interesting.
Right?
Like, you hear about jobs now, like with the FBI, where they have like these profilers, right? And that's essentially what their job is, to kind of like think like this person would, and to catch them, right?
Yeah, I wanted to be one.
I think that
for a
started
little while, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that started with who was? I think it was the Zodiac killer from the 60s or 70s.
Yeah.
Where I think there was a TV show actually about it, where they were like this, this guy came in, he was a famous profiler, and he solved the case. He solved one of these big cases, and they brought him in for the Zodiac killer, who essentially was never caught, from what I understand. It was like one of the more famous ones that was just never caught. Mm-hmm. But there are still serial killers active today, and you can find that information. I think maybe it's just because it's too prominent now that you don't hear about it the way you would, because it was one of those things
newer.
Where it's like, it was newer, and then you heard about it, but you didn't hear about it in the way you could now. Like when you have the internet at your fingertips, and you basically have, everything in the world at your fingertips.
Yeah.
It's also hard to know, hard to follow all of it, because there's like a running list of like active known serial killers, from what I understand.
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, my God, you can go to the FBI Most Wanted and find a couple there, but
I think it might be.
It just seems like you don't hear about it as much.
They don't sensationalize it as they
do.
They definitely don't.
Before, the reason they were sensationalizing it was to keep people safe.
Right.
Because it just seemed to happen like nonstop.
They wanted you to be aware.
Yeah.
Now
it's like, well, if you're not aware yourself, then too bad.
Maybe
we're just not going to tell you about it.
Just desensitized of it, or maybe, I don't know, like, my mind frame with this whole thing is I like all the old school ones. Like, hearing about, like, ones from the past, I don't really care about what's going on right now.
Yeah.
Whatever. But, like, I like it's more fascinating because we already know about what was in these guys' mind.
Yeah.
And like, enough about them to where you can find a lot of info on them. And all these ones that haven't been caught, or the new ones and stuff, I'm not interested in personally. So maybe that's why, because I'm not looking for it.
And it's also like, okay, well, now you've had these profilers who sit down and talk with these guys when they're in jail, right?
Yeah.
And try to get inside their mind and try to figure out, okay, what are the motivations here? So now, like nowadays, the motivations are still the same. But back then, it was new information.
Yeah.
Right? That's why Mindhunter is like such a fantastic show, because it shows you the start of it.
Yeah.
Right? It was the start of this idea, like, wait a minute. We might be more effective as a unit if we're able to figure out what motivates them. And then maybe we can stop them before, they kill hundreds of people. So instead, you're only killing a couple.
Yeah.
Right? By the time we catch you. And I think that's what it is we have all of this information now. So motives don't necessarily change as far as serial killers are concerned.
No.
It's always...
We just change because we don't care so much.
There's always... Well, and I think honestly we feel safer, right? Because we do have that information at our fingertips. We can get it if we want it.
Right.
Right? We don't need it to be shoved down our throat. Also, we have a lot of tools to keep us safe.
Yes.
More so than they did, obviously back in the early 1900s when H.H. Holmes was like, hey, I'm going to build this hotel and I'm going to kill all these people coming to the World's Fair. Fucking A right. I mean, really, he killed over 100 people. They're still finding out, more victims of his.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, God. But think about it. Like, if you really sit there and you go, what kind of mind? Like, what was he doing? You know what I mean? Are you just, sitting there having coffee one day and you're like, you know what? I want to build a fucking hotel and I want to torture people. I want to kill people. You know what I mean? Like, I want to prey on these naive motherfuckers who are coming to check out the World's Fair.
Sounds like fun.
Right? Really? Like, that's insane to me, right? That's insane. I don't sit here and drink my coffee and say, you know what? I wonder how I could get away with torturing people. Yeah. That's not what I do.
No.
Right? But it fascinates me. I fucking love it.
I just fascinated about breaking my friend's neck because he eats and
that too.
slurps like an idiot. But other than that...
I don't know. I could talk about serial killers all day.
Yeah.
Like, I could quite literally sit there and research them all day long for the rest of my life.
I find the mind of
I would still find new information, and I would just be, tickled by it.
Yeah.
I would think it's fantastic.
I find the inner workings of it to be fascinating. What makes them or triggers them to do what they do. I just did a Google search, and one of the more recent ones that I remember actually seeing about, but I haven't heard about in a long time, was the mysterious smiley face drownings, where the killer's tag was like a smiley face, spray painted on a wall.
Yeah.
And it was basically mysterious. I remember reading about this once, and there was accidental. It was made to look like accidental drownings, but every one of these people had that date rape drug or whatever.
Yeah.
In their system, so they made it look like an accident, but it really wasn't. And also, this person was missing for days before they turned up. Drowned.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yeah. How recent was that?
2008.
Oh wow!
According to this article that I'm reading for it now, and it's the last reported one was in 2019.
Huh.
So, and apparently it's something in former New York police department, Kevin Gannon and Anthony Duarte were working on this. So something, I guess it was around New York, and it was targeting college educated white men in their 20s.
Huh.
Interesting.
I don't know anything about that one.
Yeah.
See, that doesn't interest me though. For some reason, it just doesn't.
No.
So I think that's some of the mentality of people too, or that know. I don't know personally. I just like the old stuff because we know about them, we know what they did, we know their story.
We are desensitized to it.
That's more interesting to me than having somebody.
I think it's more interesting because of how easily they got away with it.
That too.
Right, the way they operated.
I mean, my gosh,
completely different time.
Yeah, like when you see or read or hear anything about Ed Kemper, the co-ed killer.
Yeah.
And this is fresh in my mind because we literally were just looking at something last night. But it's how easily he got away with things. He had bodies in his fucking trunk. You know what I mean? And literally got pulled over for a headlight that was out.
Yeah.
And he was he actually said to somebody, you know what I mean? How am I getting away with this? Yeah. Even he was amazed at how easily he got away with it. He was friends with police officers.
Right.
Whilst he's going around murdering people. I mean,
pretty fucking whacked out.
Yeah. It blows my mind.
What was the other thing? He just killed 2 people. They were in his car. He was going through a college checkpoint.
Oh, the campus checkpoint, yeah.
He was going through a campus checkpoint, and he just said the girls were drunk, and he's taking them home.
and they were like, okay, cool. And they're literally dead in his car.
Have a good night.
Slumped over.
That's fucked up.
What the fuck?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, Ed Kemper, he takes the cake for depravity and all that stuff. But, I mean, really, I could do an entire podcast for 5 hours about it. But I'm not going to.
You can do that on your own time.
Oh, I can do that.
I'm going to...
Oh. Can it be like Sarah's thoughts? Sarah's shenanigans? Sarah's super coolness?
Yeah.
I'll call it that. All three of those.
Sarah's Oh, I had a word and it went away from me. Darn it. All right. First brain fart of the day. I have 3 of them usually, so that's the first one.
Well,
we got out of the way early.
Yeah,
Oh, there you go.
You're doing very well. You're doing very well.
Yep.
Oh boy. I gotta watch a little bit more about NCAP because I never even But you know what it was? I think it was his name that I never realized.
Yeah. Well,
but I remember hearing about the co-ed killer.
Yeah, they're known as like co-ed killer or Zodiac killer.
They always get that.
You don't necessarily know their name.
But Unabomber, right? Does anybody know the Unabomber's name? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. What the hell is his name? I don't remember.
Ted Kaczynski.
Ted.
McVeigh.
No.
Wasn't that the Unabomber?
Timothy McVeigh was.
Who's
Timothy McVeigh was the guy who blew up the government building, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I don't see. I don't. Yeah. He's too new. I don't care about him.
What, Timothy McVeigh?
Yeah, I don't care about those people.
Yeah.
I care about the old school people.
Yeah, Oklahoma City bombing was Timothy McVeigh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like almost
I always
really
get him and the Unabomber like all
nut job.
confused.
Yeah, he was just a nut job.
Yeah.
I don't care about that
Well,
stuff,
what's the differentiation between just being a nut job or just like losing your shit one day and actually being a serial killer and like working your way up to it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And technically, right?
If
you kill more than one person, you are a serial killer. But if you kill more than one person in just one instance, does that make you a serial killer? Technically.
I think that's what it comes down to is serial killers are somebody who carry out this mission over time, whereas Timothy McVeigh went and blew up a building and killed 100 and something people, in one shot.
But
so I
he's
think that's
known as a serial killer.
Right.
So
is he?
Yeah, where is the line drawn? Serial just means that it's more than one. Essentially. It's like it's a series. It's a series.
That's ridiculous.
But he's classified that way because they kind of took it from, okay, now it's a series of things happening, like John said. Right. But then they changed it to also incorporate, okay, well, if you kill a large amount of people, we're also going to classify you that way. Like, where'd that change come from? I'm going to have to look into this stuff.
You're going to have to.
We're going to have to. We're going to have an in-depth discussion about it.
Oh, boy.
Are you excited?
I need a 2-minute break. I have to go check on my son.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I need to pee.
You can do it. Oh, we can just edit this out.
Yeah.
All right. What? No. They exist and they're fucked up.
There's been a lot of fucked up people.
Rather you didn't dig into it.
What, the children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some did appropriate thing for you guys to be.
I don't want to do that. I don't like cereal kids. So
Cereal. I don't like cereal.
Hey, you can't just take over my spot just because I'm working. Live lesson.
I haven't I gotten one of those. I haven't gone to a live lesson at all.
Yeah, you also called your teacher not that long ago.
You there? John's not there. I'm the only one here. Oh, man.
All right, technology and its amazing uses.
What?
So my son's laptop died.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The battery went dead on it. So I'm like, all right, let's plug you in.
You gotta love that.
I'm like, we charged it last night. The thing lasted 2.5 hours. What a piece of junk.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Anyway.
They're horrible. They're horrible. Yeah, we can just edit all that out, obviously.
Yeah, no, I just clear that right out.
Yeah.
That's
start
fine.
Back up here in a second when she gets back here.
Let me sit down.
Sit down.
There you go.
We got 11:44.
Okay. But yeah, I'm good
Probably
till noon, and then we got to be done.
Yeah.
Go to
Cool.
fucking work.
Ew.
Ew. Gross.
Gross. So, what? I think we should probably talk about his idea.
Well, yeah.
Oh, my topic?
Yeah.
All right, so now we're going to shift gears a little bit because my topic is completely different from what you guys are talking about, and has to do with religion and politics in a way.
Uh-oh.
And I usually stay far, far away from these two subjects.
Right.
I'm not a typically religious person. Used to be, not anymore. Somewhere along the way, my faith was tarnished, and I don't pay as much attention to it as I used to, or maybe even should. This bothers my wife because she is still religious, still wants to go to church every Sunday, and I respect that and totally understand it. And I get the whole idea behind having belief and having faith, but like I said, mine was tarnished a long time ago, and that's a story from a different day. The reason why I bring this up is because yesterday my wife is watching, because we can't go to church now. She's watching this video with a priest talking or whatever in church, and they live streamed it. And she was watching the rerun of the live recording. So it was hours after it was done, because we were out at a party. So we came home, and typically I'm like somewhere else, and I'm not anywhere near when she's watching this thing live. I just happened to be sitting there because I was doing my own thing, and I'm kind of listening, but I'm not listening. And then I hear the priest. He's talking and he's saying about. Today's my sermon is going to be, we're touching on politics a little bit or this and that. And then he just he starts talking, and he's telling some story. And then all of a sudden he starts talking about presidential candidates.
What?
And Joe Biden and Donald Trump.
Yeah. And
then he's going on about how he pretty much assaulted Joe Biden. Now, I'm not for Biden. I'm not for Trump. I'm not for anybody when it comes down to this.
Yeah.
But the part that bothered me about it was I work for a company that takes absolutely no stance when it comes to politics. Like, we don't support any candidate.
Right.
And I think that's a great policy to have.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I always taught when I was growing up that politics was a very personal thing. And one of the things that turned me off of Facebook was politics, because I had friends up there, or not even friends really, but coworkers who just started using Facebook as a platform to complain about who was elected for president.
Yep.
And I saw this trend becoming worse and worse.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned me off, and I completely got rid of Facebook. And I still have my account, but I go on there once in a while to promote like my business. And I only use it for that reason and that reason only. I don't go there and look at anything else. I don't care about what anybody's doing anymore. And it just really turned me off.
Right.
And the problem with that is that, like I said, it's just you see a stance one way or the other. So now this priest was clearly taking a stance against Joe Biden. And that's fine. That's your opinion, if that's the way you feel. And I'm okay with that. That's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is you are a priest in a congregation, and you have an extreme amount of influence over that congregation. You are now trying to dictate and preach a will to your congregation.
Yeah.
For a political reason, and I don't agree with it.
No.
And it's just one of those things that just like, I was like, that is absolutely wrong. And my wife's point, and she got mad at me because I was like, I just kept carrying on about it. And she's like, you're not listening to my point. I'm like, well, tell me your point. Well, he said at the beginning of his sermon that it was going to be political. I go, that doesn't make it okay. That's like me going to somebody, or actually not even me, because I'm not that person. Somebody coming to me and going, no offense, but I didn't realize you were blind. And I've heard somebody say this. Well, you were wrong. It doesn't make it okay because you've acknowledged. It doesn't make it that I'm not going to be offended because you acknowledged. It doesn't make it right. And that was my problem with the whole thing, was that here's this priest who has this power and he's using it to sway people in one direction or another.
Yeah, that's not.
And I just didn't agree with it. And she was like, she couldn't understand it. She's like, you're not letting me make my point. I was like, no, you made your point. Your point is that he told you up front that he was going to do this so I can turn him off. It doesn't make it okay. It's like when somebody comes into my job and goes, I don't want to work with that young man. And it happens to be one of my black coworkers. I don't want to work with him. No offense, but I don't want to work with him. Well, he's just as qualified as I am. And that behavior is completely unacceptable.
Right.
Because, it's just one of the things, like, you can't sit there and make an excuse and make it go away or make a joke of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I heard a customer one time say to one of my coworkers that exact thing, like, oh, no offense. I didn't realize you were blind. I'm sorry. I'll go work with that person over there. Like, what does that have to do with anything? And why does it make it okay because you said no offense?
Yeah, that doesn't excuse your behavior. Okay. No.
So it doesn't excuse you from it, And then, like, my wife's point was like, well, he said he was going to talk about it. I'm like, no, but that doesn't make it okay. And then here he is using this influence and his power to turn you off of Joe Biden, which is fine. Like I said, if that's your opinion, that's your opinion. Well, my thing was always that when I grew up, like, the political thing and your stance on politics was that it was your opinion and you didn't have to talk about this. This is why your vote is private. That's why you go into a booth and you pull a curtain and you flip a switch or whatever you do nowadays. It's your private vote. You don't have to tell anybody who you voted for.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Nobody's business.
You know how many people get mad that you don't say who you voted for?
God.
Yes. And I feel like it's completely wrong that people have stopped being friends with people because of somebody who they voted
for. Ridiculous.
Well, no, let me tell you, though.
Okay.
Yeah, a good friend of mine. Used to be. Yeah. I say used to be.
Yeah.
Because when this whole thing went down, the election of Trump, essentially, she was taking to Facebook and literally calling anyone who voted for Trump a racist.
Yeah.
A rapist.
A rapist. Yeah.
And I was like, but here's the flip side of that. Right? So she could sit there and spout those things off, but if someone replied to her and said something, she's like, don't call me names. Yeah. And they were like, but wait a minute.
You just called us
You
racist,
quite literally
rapist?
just called an entire group of people. Yeah. Names that really do not apply here.
Yeah.
Right? Just because you voted for someone does not make you those things.
No.
At all. Like, unless you have proof that I am, in fact, all of those things, stop the name calling. Yeah. Like, I don't understand what possesses people to do that. And the hypocrisy just blows my fucking mind.
That essentially ruined our friendship.
And it ruined our friendship because I thought, you know what? Whoever I voted for, it doesn't matter.
No.
But it's the fact of the matter that you're willing to call people those names. You're not someone I want to associate with any longer.
Right.
And you can dish it out, but you can't take it because...
And you can dish it out, but you can't take it. I look at it that way, too.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever. If you want to have a heated discussion with me, we'll have a fucking heated discussion.
Right.
But you better be able to hear what's coming out of my mouth directed at you.
Those type of people, they can't.
They can't. That's the problem.
Right.
And I was also raised where, guess what? You don't discuss religion or politics with your friends.
No.
Do you know why? Because you're not going to be friends anymore.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because, and that's the thing. Everyone is entitled to an opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone,
have your opinion.
Have your opinion. I don't give a flying fuck what you do.
No.
I don't care who you're for, who you're against, what you're doing with your life, who you're fucking, who you're not fucking. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
That's you.
Yeah.
You do your own thing. But the minute you try to shove your thing down my throat, is the time that we're going to have an issue. But that's also why I choose not to discuss it.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's
got
why
to
I stay away
discuss
from it too. Because
she can't- like we played a game of Cards Against Humanity
Oh my god.
with them, remember?
Yeah.
And that was before all of this stuff.
Oh god.
And I don't know. 2 cards got mashed together, and one of them was a president, and the other one was whatever.
Yeah.
And because we thought it was hilarious,
This person,
she got offended.
Yeah, she shut down.
Wait a minute,
and got
like,
all pissed off.
oh, she for real got pissed off, and I was like, well, you can get the fuck out of my house, number one, because I don't care. Like, we're playing a fucking game.
John,
here.
I don't know if you know what Cards Against Humanity is.
yeah, I played it. I've never been a fan of it, but I played it.
It's fun.
It's
if
hilarious.
If you go into it with
It can be
open
fun,
mind,
but it's like you said, people take it too far sometimes, and then they get offended,
Yeah,
and they
then
lose aspect of the
no
fact that
fun.
it's a game.
Yeah.
Like we don't really. When it first came out, we loved it for Friday nights because we'd have friends over. It was a good
and
time.
we would drink and like
if you have an open mind and an open beer, you're good to go. You know?
Right.
Yeah. But it's the minute that people take it too seriously.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, it's a fucking game.
Yeah. It's just
a game.
Now I could care less about it, really.
It's not as much fun anymore. But we played the hell out of it for a long time. And we had like all the expansion packs and everything else.
Fun, but
we did too for a while. We, just, like I said, open beer, open mind, and you go in there and just like one night somebody just got like butt hurt, and I was like, okay, done with this.
Yeah,
some
this
fucking
isn't
I don't
funny.
need drama.
All it takes is some fucking snowflake to get butt hurt over something, and you're like,
it's like
trying to have some fun.
Yeah, why do you have to bring that shit into just a fun time?
You know what the game's about when you go into it. You have to have an open mind.
Yeah, and if you don't know, I'll tell you what the game is about, and then we'll make a decision as to whether we're going to play it or not. Or if I'm just going to tell you to go take a flying fucking leap because the rest of us want to play.
Exactly.
I don't care. Yeah. Like, I think as I'm aging, I'm just getting so tired. I'm getting tired of having to, like, pander to people.
Right.
I'm done. I'm done with it. Yeah. I don't care. The people I care about are right here, and that's it.
Yep.
There you go.
I don't give a flying fuck. Nope. I don't care.
There you go.
Leave me out of it. Leave me out of your drama and your toxicity and all this other shit. I have better things to do.
As I have aged, I've come to the same conclusion where it's like, I've actually been that way for a long time. Like, I don't care what anybody thinks of me except for my wife and my 2 children.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's beyond that. Anybody else, take me for what I am. Yeah. And if you don't have to. You can go away, and I won't be offended.
Yeah, you quite literally can get the fuck out.
You get just so sick of the world and the people in it that you're just like,
yeah.
Fuck off.
Yep.
Like I don't even pay attention to the news anymore because I'm like, number one, I would say 90% of it is just a big fat fucking lie.
Most of it.
Yeah, you don't know what's real anymore.
And you have all this like the hypocrisy just runs so deep. I can't. My brain just doesn't allow me to do it.
Yeah. Because
my brain is essentially protecting me. Right? That's why your brain represses things and it tries to keep you safe. It tries to keep you sane so that you don't go off the deep end and go blow up a building. That's what it's doing. So
unless you're Timothy McVeigh.
I technically try to I keep myself away from the stuff that I know is going to trigger me. I guess this whole trigger word. I mean, it makes sense, right?
I love that word. I use that word all the time.
Yeah, and in some aspects, triggered is a very good word.
Triggered is a word. It is. It applies
very
to
good description
pretty
for
much everything
a lot of
anymore,
things,
right? If something triggers me, that means I'm gonna get pissed off.
It's just the way,
Plain and simple. Although when
my buddy eating. That triggers me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, exactly. No, and that's a trigger.
Choke 'em
but
out.
No, I mean, I've dealt with skin issues basically up until the last couple of years, right?
I don't know where this is going, but okay.
No, but it was funny because when I would go to the dermatologist, they would say, are there certain things that trigger?
Oh, yeah.
Trigger your face to basically explode into a bunch of disgusting pimples and bright redness. You know what I'm saying? But they use that word because that's what it is, right? It's a trigger that causes some kind of effect.
Well, yeah.
Right? So it's cause and effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Is there a certain thing that causes your face to explode like that?
Yeah.
And, I guess there were certain things. Basically, you idiot dermatologist telling me I should wash my face 7 times a day when all that did was make it worse.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Now I don't do anything. And my skin it's beautiful. I mean, it's not beautiful, but it's better.
It's a lot. Oh, my God.
My God.
It's
you know what I mean?
better.
Yeah. I don't break out anymore.
Nope.
I don't break out anymore.
Amazing.
But I literally don't wash my face either.
I don't know how I got on this.
No, it's because we're talking about the word trigger.
Oh,
I can
Trigger.
go, hey. I'm like, I was made to be a podcaster.
The spectrum of
all
things
you have
that
to
we
do is
talk
give me
about.
one word and I'm gone.
What the hell? We went from what? What did we start with? I don't even know what we
I
started
don't even know how I started.
I started with my maple butter and stuff. And then
Your
we
maple butter, and
we
then
went from that Animaniacs to serial killers to freaking video games to back to serial killers at some point, and then to freaking religion and politics and
yeah.
good God,
And now we're
face
at pimples and not washing your face.
Your face.
Not washing your face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So really, we just can't.
No.
We can't just pick a topic.
We can't pick a topic and stick with it.
Place, I guess.
Well,
I guess that
you
might
know
be
what,
the way
though?
this podcast is going to be.
How's the water?
Yeah.
How's the water?
We said it's gonna be it's a modge podge of everything, whatever you want to talk about.
Yep. Pretty much.
We'll have a conversation. We'll record it, and you'll either listen or you won't.
Yeah.
That's it.
Pretty much. In a nutshell. How'd the first one go? I don't know any of the stats or anything from the first podcast.
Yeah.
I didn't even look at the stats. I didn't really consider it because I kind of threw it up there. Didn't do anything with it beyond putting it to the different places.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we're gonna definitely have to work on is taking a look at that, and then eventually I'll start to push it a little bit more too.
Right.
It's a matter of like putting it on different platforms and getting the word out there. So
Yeah.
I didn't even tell friends and family about it yet, which I'm right on board telling friends and family like right away.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just been such a crazy week that I did it and I put it together and I was like, all right, put it out there. It's a pilot and then see how we feel about it. I kind of liked what I heard because I listened to it a couple times actually.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, this is actually really good. And I think the water really, I think How's the Water really fits as a name for it because of, again, it's pretty much, we're just talking about what's going on around us,
whatever
we're interested in at the time.
And that works.
Sparks our topic of discussion. No matter,
whatever tickles my fancy.
And that kind of led us to what we did this week where we each picked our own topic. We didn't tell each other what it was and we just went with it. Right. And I like the model so far. We'll see how it's received.
Yeah.
And if we continue to do it. It was a little bit of an experiment this week and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, we'll just we'll get into maybe putting a little more music. I noticed we have the music at the beginning, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And we'll probably look into doing some more stuff like that as we go along and everything. I guess get a little more professional. Not much though.
Yeah.
I don't like getting too professional about things.
Yeah, I think if we get too professional, it takes the fun away from it, and then I'm not going to want to do it.
Yeah, because this is fun.
This is fun. I enjoy just.
I don't even remember what my topic was originally going to be. I think it was going to be the Mars rover.
Yeah, you really wanted to talk about the robot.
Yeah.
But there wasn't enough there.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Really?
There really wasn't that much there. I can sum it up in like a minute.
Well, you can sum up
this rover was
we could discuss it though.
Well, yeah, the rover was sent to Mars for in like 2004 or whatever, and it was only supposed to last 90 days, and it wound up lasting 14 years.
14 years, yeah.
Hey, I told you, I had a love story.
I watched the story about that. That was actually a pretty good story.
I thought it was awesome. And then the last thing the robot. I couldn't find it. I watched it and I read about it before, but I can't remember what it said, but it actually sent a message back and said, I can't see or something like that. Or some shit like that. And I was like, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, you got verklumped.
It did.
You did. You got verklumped over
this lone robot thing, Rover, is up on Mars alone.
All by himself.
All by itself, freaking doing all this stuff and just going to town, freaking traveling all this way, taking millions of pictures and everything for 14 fucking years. And then a dust storm comes along and it can't even freaking... And it's been through other dust storms too, so maybe it was just time for it to be done. I think they have another one up there now, or they're sending one this year or something. I don't know. I used to follow that shit like crazy, but I don't so much anymore.
Didn't it lose? Didn't they lose it for a little while too? Like they thought it was dead, and then all of a sudden it had a signal and it came back.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that one. I don't even remember the name of it now. Observer or something.
Yeah, there was two that went up there. So
yeah,
I forget which one that was.
Yeah, they've had two up there. As far as I know, I think they're sending another one up this year. I think. I don't know. I didn't do any research on it because I was like, I don't know if there's enough there for a real topic.
Yeah.
But I just find it fascinating. That was awesome. And that was during the time frame I was still following that stuff.
It is cool stuff, though.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's
I gotta get around and get to fucking work.
All right, but that's gonna do it for this one.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think this is the end.
The end.
The end of this podcast.
Yep.
End of the podcast. Thank you for those who listen and download and spread the word to your friends.
Yeah, tell everybody.
Like to
tell
say, tell
everybody about it.
If you like it, tell them. If you don't like it, tell them.
Yeah.
Tell
and
them
when
we're just
it's
a bunch
on,
of crazy fuckers.
Yeah.
Seriously, tell them we're stupid and this podcast sucks, but still show them how much this podcast sucks.
Yeah. Let them form their own opinion
Make sure you
about
do that.
the
Let them have
suckery.
their own opinion on the total suckery.
The total suckery of this.
If you think it sucks, I like it. So.
Hey, and leave us some comments.
Yeah,
and
give
us
us your opinion about
give us,
our opinions.
Give us comments and maybe future topics or something.
Yeah, future topics. Hey, I'll
Absolutely.
talk about anything.
Yeah, me too.
Quite literally.
Nothing is taboo.
Nothing.
Well, I guess maybe a few things could be.
No, I mean not really.
Well, maybe.
Like what?
I don't like bestiality or something. That could be
a
little too taboo for.
Well, I mean it's taboo, but it's still a topic. It's still something to discuss.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Right?
I don't know about that.
Whatever.
I often find that it depends upon the approach to a subject. So
yeah, it's true too. Yeah, maybe next time we'll touch on the penis museum.
Yeah,
there is in Iceland. There is a penis museum, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, we could actually discuss that because I need to know who's going there.
Yeah,
is it mostly females or mostly males or both?
Both or
anyone? Does anyone actually go there?
Oh yeah, a lot of people go there.
There you go.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that go.
People are fascinated by penises.
It's called. I don't remember what it's called. Something to do with phallic something. Museum.
Yeah, Icelandic Phallological Museum.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
I love Google.
Oh my God, Google.
Yep. You'll find when I'm going along. I don't really look into too many details or really search a topic or anything. I kind of just go off of what I've heard.
Yeah.
So,
we just wing it.
I wing it completely.
Hey.
To me, the title of it alone is enough.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Right.
The name alone speaks for itself.
Yep. Oh Jesus! All right, let's get out of this. Let's kick this pig and keep our sticks on the ice or something.
Yeah.
There
Let's
you go.
keep our sticks on the ice, guys.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right,
Thanks
guys.
for listening.
Later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later. Bye.